Hello, Storytime friends. It's Claire here today from Longmont Public Library for Family Storytime. I'm filling in for Stephanie, so I hope I can fill her shoes today and share some fun stories and maybe a few songs with you in the process too. Are you ready? I like to sing a hello song. We've got to shake out our fingers, shake out our wrists, maybe shake out your whole body. Shake out your hair if you have hair. Tap your feet. Maybe rub up your hands to get warm. Okay, the song goes like this. We wave hello like this. We wave hello like this. With all our friends at story time, we wave hello like this. I also like to clap hello. Can we clap hello together? Let's try. We clap hello like this. We clap hello like this. With all our friends at story time, we clap hello like this. Yay! Big round of applause. Good job, friends. I'm so happy to be here today. I have some stories that are reimaginings or retellings or remixes of fairy tales. So you might be familiar with the original stories of these stories, but this mixes it up and tells it either from a different perspective, a different character, or adds some humor, changes it up in some different way. And we're going to start with a newer book. This is the cover. Do you have any guesses about what famous story this book might be covering? It's about a big bad wolf. That could involve a few different famous stories. It's not Little Red Riding Hood, but it's the Three Little Pigs that it's based on. And this one is called How the Big Bad Wolf Got His Comeuppance. That's a hard word. That's a good vocabulary word. Comeuppance. That means the big bad wolf got his due. He got maybe what he faced consequences of his actions. You'll find out kind of more about comeuppance in the story. This is by Lisa Wilk Pope and Arthur Geisert. And the illustrations are pretty cool if you ever get a chance to look at it up close. When the big bad wolf got hungry, he had a reputation for huffing and puffing and blowing houses down in order to eat their inhabitants. That's the story we know, right? Let's see what happens in this version of the story. Once upon a time, there was a mother pig who had 3 little pigs, whom she loved very much. Even though she worked hard every day, she struggled to make ends meet. Looks like she ran a laundromat where she washed people's clothes. And there's their house. After a particularly miserable dinner, she explained that the time had come for them to go out into the world to seek their fortunes. She warned her little pigs to be wary of the wolf and sent them off early the next morning. There was their dinner, and there the 3 little pigs go off to make their fortunes. Eventually, the wolf came upon the first little pig, who had found a harvested field and made a house out of a bundle of grass, or bundles of grass, rather. You need multiple bundles of grass to build a house. The wolf grew hungry. There's the house, there's the wolf, right in the center there. He's taking a peek. See if I can turn the page. There we go. What the wolf didn't know was that the little pig, heeding his mother's warning, had built an elaborate underground contraption. Determined to get at the pig, the wolf huffed and puffed and blew mightily in order to blow the house down. There's the underground contraption. Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen there. To the wolf's great surprise, flour exploded from the flowers, blanketing him in fine white powder. Unbeknownst to the wolf, the clever little pig had engineered it to happen just that way. Oh, there are the flowers. Spraying the flower. And there's the wolf. Humiliated and still covered in flour, the big bad wolf continued on through the fields until he saw a town. He's walking into town. There he goes. The wolf was even hungrier than before when he came upon the second little pig among a large pile of construction materials. There are the construction materials. What's going on there? Let's see. The little pig intended to build a handsome home with a grand dome, but the wolf had other plans. There are the pieces. There's the wolf thinking about it. Full of confidence, the wolf huffed and puffed and blew mightily in order to scatter the pieces far and wide. To the wolf's great surprise, the pieces flew into the air, then fell into place, forming an impressive house. Unbeknownst to the wolf, the clever little pig had engineered it to happen just that way. That's a smart little pig. The wolf was infuriated that the little pig was out of reach, but he had no choice but to move on. There's the newly formed house and the pig at the top. Pretty smart. Twice foiled, the dejected wolf trapezed on his way until he came upon the third little pig, who lived in a stately castle. There's his castle. Even has a moat and a drawbridge. Famished and desperate, the big bad wolf huffed and puffed and blew mightily in order to unleash a powerful blast. There he is, blasting away. To the wolf's great surprise, there was suddenly a deafening noise. The surge of air from the wolf's tremendous blast had set off an intricate alarm system of horns and whistles. There are the horns and whistles in the alarm system. Wow. Unbeknownst to the wolf, the clever little pig had engineered it to happen just that way. Covering his ears, the wolf ran away in defeat. There he goes. Back in his lair, the wolf searched his cupboards for something to eat, but found nothing. It says, Wolf Hollow, Electric Co-op, trespassers eaten alive. There's the wolf trying to find something to eat. To take his mind off his growling stomach, the big bad wolf took a boiling hot bath and lay down for a nap. That's a clawfoot bathtub, all right. There he is, taking a nap. He soon was asleep and dreaming of a delectable pork dinner. When the three little pigs returned home to visit their mother, they told her all about their encounters with the wolf as they ate pizza until their bellies were full. Satisfied, the big bad wolf had gotten his comeuppance. There's that word. The pigs lived happily ever after. So the wolf got his due, and they lived happily ever after. The end. I think it's a very funny book and very cool illustrations that are worth looking up close if you get a chance. That was The Big Bad Wolf Got His Comeuppance. Kind of funny, huh? All right. Our next book is a retelling or reimagining of Snow White. And it's called Not Quite Snow White. And it's written by Ashley Franklin and illustrated by Ebony Glenn. This one's a little more serious and has a good lesson for us all. All right. Oh, looks like it's morning time. For Tamika, it was always the right time and place to dance and sing. Tamika had a hip rolling dance, and she had a swayful sad dance, and a stomping mad dance, and a hair flicking just because she felt fabulous dance. Lots of dance styles. How do you like to dance? I like to sway back and forth, kind of like the swayful sad dance. She sang high with the tweeting birds and low with the croaking frogs. She always shared her love of music and movement with an audience, stuffed and unstuffed. There are some of her animals and dolls that she's performing for, and a squirrel. Tamika loved the stage. It was her perfect place. She was the star of every show, and she loved every show that she starred in. She had been a cucumber, and she had been a cowgirl, a space cowgirl even. There's a space cowgirl. And she had been a dinosaur. There's the dinosaur. And her favorite, singing mermaid. On stage, Tamika felt like she could be anything or anyone she wanted to be, but she had never been a princess. Now she would finally have her chance. Snow White the musical, auditions. Tamika was so excited that she went to both days of auditions for the Snow White musical. On the first day, she arrived super early. She helped her friends with their lines and kept count for the dancers and shooed butterflies from nervous tummies so songs could be sung. That's nice. After the audition, Tamika heard some of the other kids whispering. She can't be Snow White. She's too tall. She's too chubby. She's too brown. They're commenting on her skin, huh? That's not okay. Tamika heard all of that too. Tamika looked at her legs. They were long. Maybe the kids were right. A princess shouldn't be taller than her prince, should she? She looked at her belly. Maybe what the kids said was true. She could not remember any chubby princesses. Tamika looked at her skin. She was brown. How could a girl with brown skin play a princess like Snow White? Could those kids be wrong? Maybe she was wrong for wanting to be a princess. Tamika slouched and sucked in her belly. She tried pulling down her sleeves, but there was no getting around being brown. For the first time, she didn't feel like dancing or singing. That's pretty sad, huh? At dinner, Tamika didn't tap her feet or clang rhythms with her spoon. She felt really bad. Is something wrong? Asked her mom. The other kids said I'm too tall, too chubby, and too brown. I'm not right for Snow White, said Tamika. You've got it all wrong, Mom said. You are tall enough, chubby enough, and brown enough to be a perfect princess. Besides, said her dad, Snow White is just pretend. You've always been my real princess. You're just enough of all the right stuff. He kissed her forehead. Mwah! Tamika smiled. Maybe her parents were onto something. At the audition the next day, Tamika watched all the other kids get on stage and do their best. I hope she decides to do her best too. It was Tamika's turn at last. She remembered what her parents had said, but her long legs were still a little jittery. She closed her eyes and imagined she was singing and dancing for her favorite audience of friends, stuffed and unstuffed. And then she remembered the joy she felt when performing. Tamika knew she could do it. That's pretty brave, huh? And she did it. She shone like the star she was. She could act, she could dance, she could sing. She loved herself as much as she loved music and movement. Yay! Tamika was a perfectly poised princess. When her audition was over, Tamika looked out to the smiling faces. Tamika wasn't too much of anything. Maybe she was just enough of the right stuff. Oh, look! She was Snow White. Yay! That taught us about how it sometimes can feel to be discriminated against due to the color of your skin or your race, and overcoming. And Tamika did a great job. And hopefully people realized it was wrong to judge her based on her skin color, right? I really like that book. Not quite Snow White. All right. Our next story, should we break for a little song? Should we do, our next story features black-eyed peas and some food. So should we do If You're Hungry and You Know It? Because I'm a little bit hungry. It's almost lunchtime for me. Okay, it's a lot like If You're Happy and You Know It. Okay, if you're hungry and you know it, eat some ice cream, slurp it up. If you're hungry and you know it, eat some ice cream. If you're hungry and you know it, then your tummy will surely show it. If you're hungry and you know it, eat some ice cream. Yum. What should we eat next? Should we try some carrots, maybe, to get a little bit of vegetables in there with our ice cream? If you're hungry and you know it, crunch your carrots. Crunch, crunch. If you're hungry and you know it, crunch your carrots. Crunch, crunch. If you're hungry and you know it, then your tummy will surely show it. If you're hungry and you know it, crunch your carrots. Crunch, crunch. How about, so our next book is called Princess and the Peas. So let's eat some black-eyed peas. Maybe we'll pick one pea and eat it. If you're hungry and you know it, eat a pea. If you're hungry and you know it, eat a pea. If you're hungry and you know it, then your tummy will surely show it. If you're hungry and you know it, eat a pea. Yum. All right, we have ice cream, carrots, and black-eyed peas. That's an interesting lunch. They're all good, but maybe separately. Thank you for singing that silly song with me. It prepares us, like I previewed, for our next book, which is called Princess and the Peas by Rachel Himes. And this one is based on the famous story called Princess and the Pea, a single pea. But this one's Princess and the Peas, plural. And it's what I like to call a historical fiction book set in the 1950s. Princess and the Peas. There's a lady coming into town on a train. Ma Sally was the best cook in Charleston County, South Carolina. Everybody knew it, especially Ma Sally. When she fixed supper, the tables groaned under crock pots of collard greens, piles of sweet potatoes, and heaps of hot rolls. But Ma Sally was most famous for her black-eyed peas. When she brought them to the Sunday evening potluck at First Baptist, folks lined up just to get a taste. There's Ma Sally and her black-eyed peas. Ma Sally had a son, John, who was the kindest, most thoughtful man you could hope to meet. When John passed the corner restaurant on his way home after coaching the neighborhood baseball team, Miss Harriet would run out to meet him with something from the kitchen. On Sundays, Miss Hannah sat in the front row of the church choir just so she could see John in the first pew. And Miss Hattie, the town librarian, made sure that John's book requests were always there for him. That's a good librarian. One morning, John sat down to a huge breakfast Ma Sally had cooked. Grits with melted cheese, sizzling bacon, eggs over easy, and a stack of pancakes you almost couldn't see over. There's a stack of pancakes. Looks good. Ma, said John, I think I'd like to get married. Ma Sally frowned. I'm not sure about these local gals, John. I don't think they'd feed you right. Have you tried Miss Harriet's cornbread? Dry as dust and sour as 3-week-old milk. John nodded thoughtfully, then said, true, but no one has around here seems to be able to cook like you. But I have to make my way in life. I think I'd like to get married just the same. Ma Sally was troubled. She figured it was time for John to raise a family of his own, but she couldn't bear the thought of her child sitting down to an ill-cooked meal. Anybody who wants to marry my John, she thought, will have to cook as well as me. The next time Ma Sally went into town, she mentioned to Ma'am Della, the town grocer and a known gossip, that John was looking to get hitched. Getting hitched is another word for getting married. Any interested ladies, she whispered, should come to her house that Sunday evening. There she is whispering. When Pastor Vernon stopped by the grocery for green tomatoes, Ma'am Della told him Harriet, shopping nearby, also heard. Renaud shouted to Mr. Mosley over the noise of his barber's clippers that John was going to choose a bride that Sunday evening. And Hannah, hidden under the hairdryers, heard. First grader Flannery told her brother that there would be a contest to pick the best lady in town for John, and Hattie, shelving books nearby, heard. And on Saturday afternoon, ancient Mr. Jefferson and even more ancient Miss Grady heard the news. And the new girl in town, fresh out of college and sharp as a tack, well, she heard too. Sunday evening arrived at Ma Sally's place, and one by one so did Harriet, Hannah, and Hattie. They clustered together on the veranda, anxious as a pack of hens at supper time. I think I'll be the one to marry John, said Harriet. Doesn't he stop by the restaurant whenever I'm there? It'll probably be me, said Hannah. He's always sitting in the first pew at church trying to catch my eye. Nonsense. I'm sure I'll be the one, said Hattie. You should see the way he smiles at me over the library desk. A mighty fight was brewing on the front porch when Ma Sally flung open the door. Come in, she said. She led them into the kitchen. Ladies, said Ma Sally, if you want a chance at John, you're going to need to cook. Cook, whined Harriet. Cook, shrieked Hannah. Cook, shouted Hattie. Cook, said Ma Sally, and not just anything. You are going to cook up a dish of black-eyed peas. Whoever makes the best peas marries my son. It's as simple as that. There are the pots and pans. And so they cooked. They made a terrible mess. At last, 3 bowls of black-eyed peas sat on the kitchen table. Slowly, Ma Sally tasted each one. She chewed thoughtfully. She swallowed. Harriet's peas were too mushy. Hannah's peas were too salty. And Hattie's peas tasted like nothing at all. That's not good. Ma Sally shook her head. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm afraid not a one of you is fit for my son. Harriet pouted. Hannah sulked. Hattie frowned. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. A voice called, May I come in? Oh, I wonder who's at the door. In walked a capable-looking young lady. I heard there was some kind of contest happening here, she said in a voice as sweet as molasses. May I try? Who, snapped Hattie, are you? My name, said the girl, is Princess. Princess? Asked Hannah. What sort of name is that? It's a name my ma and pa gave me, said the girl simply, because I'm special. If you're so special, said Ma Sally, prove it and cook those peas. Everyone crowded around the stove to watch, but Princess paid them no mind. She cooked like she was born to do it. She whirled about the kitchen, slicing and dicing and stirring. Ingredients flew into the pot one after another until the peas were simmering away. A delicious smell filled the room. Finally, sweeping the lid off the pot, Princess announced simply, "Peas are done." That's a lot of pressure. Ma Sally dropped a spoon into the pot and took a bite. "These peas," she whispered. Everyone held their breath. "These peas are the best I've ever tasted." John let out a whoop and a holler. Princess smiled. "Thank you," she said. "My mama taught me to cook these peas, and her mama taught her." "Well," said Ma Sally, "maybe you can teach my John." She hugged Princess so tight it's a wonder the girl didn't get bruised all over. "How about it?" Ma Sally asked. "You and John are 2 peas in a pod." Princess frowned. I don't know. I like John well enough, but I've got my own plans. How about this? Dancing Saturday at the juke joint. John nodded, his mouth too full to speak. Princess continued, "And one more thing. I know I'm the best cook there is, but what can you do, John?" She looked around the kitchen. "Why don't you show me how to scrub those pots and pans?" In the blink of an eye, John was up to his elbows in dishwater. When he finished, John looked at Princess questioningly, and she smiled and nodded. Ma Sally, brushing aside tears of joy, turned to get herself more of those peas, but by that time, they were all gone. And then came spring, and John got married after they got to know each other and figure out if it was what they both wanted. And they had black-eyed peas at their wedding. And in the back's a cool author note about why the author chose to tell this story and a recipe for Princess's black-eyed peas. That's a cool thing when you see a picture book about food, always check in the back because there's often a recipe back there and some good surprises in the back of books in general. Okay, we have one more story. Are you ready? It's not about a specific famous story or fairy tale like the other ones we've done today, but it's kind of a mashup because it's about fairy tale monsters and knights and brave people. And this one's called Beau the Brave, and it's by Bethan Wolven, and she writes and illustrates a lot of remixed, fractured fairy tales. One of them is Rapunzel here. She has the ones, most of her books have those skeptical, creeping side eyes, and her retellings of fairy tales are very super dark in a good way, and the princesses get their revenge. So check out her books if you're interested in that kind of thing. This one of hers is called Beau the Brave. Beau's gonna be brave. Beau lived with her older brothers, Eric and Ivar, in a land of mountains and forests. There's Beau. She's got pink hair, kind of like me. Eric and Ivar were hunters, and one day they set off on a quest to catch a monster. "Please, can I come with you? I want to catch a monster too," begged Beau. "You must stay home," said Ivar. "Besides," Eric sneered, "you're far too little." These mean older brothers. Beau went to her room and sulked. "I'm not too little," she thought. "I'm smart and brave and strong." And so Beau crept out of the castle to catch a monster of her own. There she goes. Deep in the forest, Beau caught a glimpse of a strange creature. "Beware, you horrid monster! I'm Beau the Brave!" she shouted as she quickly drew an arrow and aimed. "Get ready to be got." There's Beau with the bow and arrow. "Me? A monster? Certainly not," the creature replied. "I'm the Griffin. Now, lower your bow. I mean you no harm." Griffins are cool, like magical bird-like creatures. Beau was suspicious. The Griffin looked like a monster. "You seem lost. Can I help you find your way?" he asked politely. He's far too helpful to be a monster, thought Beau. So she told the Griffin about her quest. "I heard the sea is full of monsters," the Griffin said, and so they set off to find one. Just to fly on his back. It wasn't long before they spotted another strange creature. "Beware, you slimy monster! I'm Beau the Brave!" Beau stretched out to capture the beast beneath the waves. "Get ready to be," but she leaned over too far and toppled overboard. Oh no! This page is hard to turn. There we go. You simply must learn to swim, the sea creature bellowed, plucking Bo from the waves. And me, a monster? Don't be ridiculous, I'm a kraken. I mean you no harm. There's the kraken with the 3 eyes. Bo was suspicious. The kraken looked like a monster and smelled like a monster, but a true monster wouldn't have saved her. She is far too nice to be a monster, thought Bo. So Bo told the kraken about her quest. I heard that monsters live in caves, the kraken said, and so they set off to find one. Well, now this creature looked like a monster and smelled like a monster and sounded like a monster. Roar! But as Bo crept closer, she noticed something odd. Instead of being angry, the creature was crying. Oh no. I'm sorry, said Bo. I didn't mean to upset you. I thought you were a monster. No, I'm just a dragon, a deep voice replied. And you haven't upset me. My poor baby was stolen and I can't find him anywhere. She's far too caring to be a monster, thought Bo. I can help you. I'm Bo the Brave, and I think I know just where to find your baby. Bo and her new friends swooped off to look for Dragon's baby. There they go. Whoop. My baby must be over there, cried the dragon. He always gets fiery when he's scared. And so they headed up toward the burning castle. As they landed, Bo spotted her brothers, Eric and Ivar. They didn't look or smell like monsters. There they are. But they were certainly acting like monsters. Beware, you nasty beast, shouted Bo. I'm Bo the Brave. Get ready to be got. And with that, she threw water over the flames and her monstrous brothers. Let that baby dragon go, yelled Bo. There she is. These creatures are helpful and nice and caring. We shouldn't be hunting them. Eric and Ivar were so relieved not to be eaten that they agreed never to go monster hunting again. From then on, Bo loved roaming the land and learning about all the amazing creatures she came across, with the help of her brothers, of course. Because Bo wasn't too little. She was smart, she was strong, and she was Bo the Brave. Yay! The end. Well, that brings us to the end of our story time. I really enjoyed sharing these fun stories and interesting stories with you all today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you soon at the library. Can we sing our goodbye song? It's a lot like our hello song. We've got to get our hands out again. Shake them out. Give your body a shake after the long story time. Ready? We wave goodbye like this. We wave goodbye like this. With all our friends at story time, we wave goodbye like this. Thanks, friends. See you next time. Bye.